we're going to jump ahead. Because that seems rather personal, rather detailed, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If somebody wants to share some personal information, you know, like I did on my last video in kind of regards to this.
You've just spent the last 10 minutes berating this person, really, for their account of their own history. And now you're saying you don't care or that it doesn't matter? How can that be the case? So we seem to have moved on from the Halo 3 video now, so we'll go on to this next section. We're now talking about Dr. Disrespect.
Disrespected his wife by cheating on her, okay? So he screwed some other woman, he made some video discussing it with his subscribers, and Rich decided to make a video in regards to that information, and the video is only 7 minutes and 10 seconds long. Now what can you possibly be telling everyone in 7 minutes and 10 seconds? Basically, that the guy cheated on his wife. You're really not adding anything into the mix here. You're not giving anybody any I don't know, palpable information, okay? So I wanted to get to that. So let's move to 330, okay? Because I think you need to hear this.
I have seen that video, and there is this reference to okay, so the way that Rich starts the video is that he says, he says to the audience, do you know who Dr. Disrespect is? And he says, if you don't know who Dr. Disrespect is, he is this, I didn't know who he was. He is this guy, I think he was at the Game Awards, and he's got quite a large following on Twitch, and he basically does this kind of wrestling persona kind of from the 1980s as a gamer, and obviously the wrestling name that he gives himself is Dr. Disrespect. And for some reason, now actually for some reason is explained by Rich, and I'll give Rich the credit here. There is some speculation on Rich's behalf about why exactly Dr. Disrespect made a video where he came out and said that he had cheated on his wife. Why would you do that, right? And he said that he thought, this is what Rich was saying, Rich said that he thought that the reason why this guy had come out and said this was because if he allowed it to come out in any other way, like his partner, for example, his wife, got on on a Twitter or on YouTube or whatever and had said something, he would have lost control of the situation and of the news. So he kind of took control of the situation and told everybody first. And in a way that gives him control of the message. So that doesn't sound like an unreasonable assertion. So again, is the story worth doing? That's really up to the viewer to decide. Did Rich give any extra or important information? It depends. If you're saying, if you value Rich's opinion and you value this this kind of assertion that he makes, that actually, look, this person has come forward first because then they can control the message, then I think that listening to the video or watching the video has value. But again, that's up to the viewer to decide.
And by the way, I'm using a Wii U pad. Yes, Rich, I'm still using a Wii U pad, and currently I'm not using a tripod, but somebody did mail me a tripod through a P.O. box, okay? If anybody's keeping count, okay?
To bring it into the public eye if there was no other...
That's a very strange moment there. I'm still using a Wii U remote or tablet, and I do have a tripod. So I don't, maybe those are in-jokes somewhere. I kind of got the impression that he thought we were going to be critical of him for using those things. I'm not sure why he would think that.
The reason to me was kind of dumb.
So Rich is telling you the fact that this guy has talked about cheating on his wife and bringing that into the public eye was just dumb. Well, is that as dumb as telling everybody a video game saved your life? Now, mind you, Rich made Halo 3 saved his life on November the 30th. Now,
Okay, so we're making a comparison between it being it raising an eyebrow that somebody would go public with the information that they have cheated on their wife, and telling people that a video game saved your life.
does he give us any words of wisdom? Not really, except for it's stupid to cheat on your wife. Okay, I think we all pretty much know that, depending on where our moral compass sits. But let's go over to, I think, 605 to 637, and let's listen.
Much as I don't agree with what he did, I don't think that his career as a live streamer should end. But again, if he just did this out of guilt and his wife wasn't going to come forward with anything, there was no reason for it. It should have been kept behind closed doors. It should have been kept private. If there was no kind of sexual assault that he did or anything else, this is something that's handled between a family. It's not something that needed to be made publicized. Because again, I said this, I remember I said it a long time ago with my 200,000 subscriber video. Once you put your personal nonsense out there, it'll always come back for years to come to haunt you. So if he just, I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for that at that time. I was in a really dark place, and that game, Halo 3, may have literally saved my life.
Okay, you've done something very clever. I'm going to admit it. You've done something very clever. You've managed to get us to understand, the audience, that he's put his personal nonsense out on the internet, this kind of story, if you want to interpret it as nonsense, but I wouldn't personally. And you are now basically using his own words against him, in the sense that he's saying your personal stuff will come back to haunt you. So is that what the purpose of this video is? Are you just haunting this person, or criticizing them because they told you something personal about themselves?
This video about this guy cheating on his wife, did he make that for clickbait? I'm assuming he made that for clickbait, since it's only 7 minutes and he really doesn't give you anything palpable, right? But he made a 25-minute video about depression, and then he goes nowhere. Tells you he was locked in a small closet that was really a living room where he's pissing in Coke bottles, and he had a mid-sized crazy dog outside that was going to kill him, and thank God for Halo 3, and he was pissing in bottles. But it to me, that sounds like somebody just giving you just enough. Just enough. Clearly there's a story there about depression, but he doesn't really want to tell you that because he wants to manipulate his audience. He wants to emotionally manipulate you. He wants to give you just enough. Just enough to move people for his personal benefit. You got a 25-minute video, you got 3 hits in it to where you get paid for 3 commercials, and you got a Patreon jingle at the beginning of it. So to me, it just doesn't seem very sincere. It doesn't ring sincere, no less when it's about a video game. It's a soft sell to gain control. I'm going to give you just a little bit. So that's my problem. It just has that how can you meet his needs and keep him happy kind of thing. Which is he produces a 25-minute video. There's 3 commercials in that 25-minute video. There's a Patreon. And once again, not saying anything in regards to Patreon, because I would love to have a Patreon. I spent about $3,000 just opening up retro games for my subscribers, and now I'm having to pay that off. So having a Patreon would be fantastic for that.